Arsenic is one of the largest constitutional or polychrest remedies, and it affects most organs, and it has many emotional complaints. But one of the core essence of it, as we have with lycopodium, which is cowardice and fear of failure, or pulsatilla, which is abandonment, or natmure is rejection. These core essences, and George Bertulkas describes the core essence of Arsenicum as insecurity. They don't feel safe, they feel insecure. And the patient feels vulnerable in the world, and they have many fears. They fear about their health, they fear about their well-being and their material security. So it's a big anxiety remedy. A big anxiety remedy. And these are very anxious, worried people. They're stressed a lot and tense. And once they get stressed and tense, they can become critical, irritable, and fed up, discontented. They can be very proper people, very kind of organized and together when they're involved in a business or a company. And these are people who often own their own business, work for themselves, or work on community projects, or even the church, yeah? But there's a kind of properness and an order about them. But as the insecurity develops, they can get high anxiety and even panic attacks. And they're one of the essence of Arsenicum is they're very, very restless. They're always moving and can't sit still and trembling, and they need a lot of reassurance. You need to tell them, like phosphorus. Phosphorus needs a lot of reassurance. It's okay, it's going to be fine, it's all going to work out. They need this, or else they start pacing up and down. They're very restless. This big insecurity with Arsenicum. So at their core, there's a fear of death. Yeah, like aconite. See how some of these remedies parallel? And they become really phobic or agoraphobic or OCD. So they might not like to go out on a real deep level, when they get very extreme with their insecurity, or they become obsessive compulsive. And I'll talk a little bit about that, OCD, obsessive compulsive. But big anxiety, deep insecurities, and that's the way it is. So great restlessness, they pace up and down, they're very fidgety, and they can really focus on health issues. They really worry that they've got every illness under the sun. So they're a big hypochondriac. They think they're going to have every problem under the sun. It's a bit like the character in the film, Woody Allen's film, I think it's in Annie Hall, or it could be in Manhattan, where he just keeps going to the doctor again and again, and he says he's got a tumour, but they can't find the tumour, but they know it's got a tumour, or the tumour's moved, or then he's got something else, he's got angina, or it's quite comical how hypochondriacal this character is, always worried that there's something going on with their health that never anyone can discover. And often with this anxiety around health, I've got an autoimmune and you just can't find it, I've got the MS developing, they exaggerate their symptoms, and often their complaint seems out of proportion. So they might get ill a bit, but it's like they're on death's door. They might get a stomach pain, but it's like, oh my God, I'm going to die from this. And they collapse and they don't move and they're totally, wiped out by it. But it's only a little stomach complaint. So they exaggerate their symptoms out of proportion. And they're constantly phoning the doctor for reassurance. And you reassure them like phosphorus, and then they go away, and then you come back and they say, no. And they got fear of cancer, big fear of heart disease, fear that they'll catch something, a contagion, like carb, also fear of contagions. They think their nervous system's going, so they get MS. And another big one of their worries is financial. They have fear of poverty, and they worry all the time about their money. They're always anxious about money. It's the really, it's the multi-millionaire who turns down the heating because he doesn't want to spend money on heating because he might run out of money tomorrow, even though that he won't or she won't. So there's this big fear of poverty and worry about their financial security, even though they're usually secure. Again, like Nat Muir, some remedies have the same things, fear of robbers. But Arsenicum has ailments from loss of wealth or financial security, or worry about loss of financial security. And another remedy that's very close to that is aurum, which we'll do at the beginning of stage 3 of the course. So yeah, they're worried about losing money, losing financials, feeling in poverty. And with this insecurity, they have a big fear of being alone. They don't like to be alone. They like people around them, whether these are work colleagues, whether these are family, whether these are friends. They need people around them to kind of reassure them and make them feel safe. So there's a bit of dependency there. So they need a strong support network with either their colleagues, or they'll build up a business so they've got all these people fussing around them, or with family and friends fussing around them.